Using the map right here and your memory of ancient Egypt, what is the most important part of the geography of ancient Egypt? Jot that down right here. Yeah, the most important part is the Nile River. When you think the geography of Egypt, there's so much desert land that they had this one big river running through, and that's how they were able to create civilization. Even if you take a look at it right here, notice how every major city had to be along that body of water. Why do you think that is? Right, so we know that geography impacted its development because just like Mesopotamia, when there is water, there are more natural resources. However, there is something else about this Nile River that had a big impact on Egypt. The Nile had a lot of flooding. There was so much flooding that happened that caused them to come up with one of the most important things that we still use in the world today, and that is irrigation. Make sure that you jot these words down. So jot down these two important vocabulary words. Irrigation is a way to control or save water, and drought is a long period of time with no rain. So sometimes what happened when it rained a lot, there was a ton of flooding and so much water, or then sometimes there would be a drought where there wasn't a lot of water and the river would start to run dry. So what the ancient Egyptians did was build a system of irrigation, and they actually constructed canals. If you take a look at this picture right here, this is what irrigation looked like. They built a system where when there was a lot of flooding because of a heavy rain, it would be able to flow into a certain canal system, and they could save it and use it for a time where there was a drought. This irrigation was a major part of Egyptian civilization. So the geography being by this river and also having, actually add this too, long periods of drought or no rain. These were two huge important parts of their geography, the weather being dry and the Nile River. And that was what led to them building an irrigation system. More information about ancient Egypt. Does anybody remember what this or the ancient Egyptian writing was called? Yeah, it was called hieroglyphics. Go ahead and write that down. Hieroglyphics, ancient Egyptian form of writing. A couple other important things and facts to remember about ancient Egypt is that ancient Egyptians were polytheistic. They believed in many gods. And then also, I think this is probably everyone's favorite, mummification. This was the process in which, one second, let me get to a definition. So here it is, to wrap up and preserve a dead body, usually in cloth. This is an important ancient Egyptian tradition. So now that you have done all these notes the last 2 days, you are going to do your exit ticket on the back, just like a blank page. And the exit ticket is, you do not have to copy this down, but just pay attention here. The lifestyles of people in ancient Egypt and ancient Mesopotamia were both impacted by their geography. Compare and contrast the ways that geography impacted their development. So you'll write a topic sentence, then one indented body paragraph that talks about how geography impacted people's lives in ancient Egypt, and then another one, separate indented body paragraph about how geography impacted people's lives in Mesopotamia. And then in a conclusion, you're going to just sort of tie it all together in a sentence or two. Make sure that these are indented. It doesn't matter if the order is switched up, but I just want a separate one about each. And then that conclusion should be a few sentences that really ties it all together. Also, make sure that you use compare and contrast language. Here is a list of compare and contrast language. You must use at least 4 of these terms. So I know that when this video ends, you're not going to be able to go back and open it up and look at this. So what I'm going to do is right now close out this video, then go to the next link on the site, and I'm going to have this somewhere so that you can keep it up and look at it while you do your exit ticket.